alignment, what do we mean by that? It's really about the values and the purpose and making sure that the employer and the business has clarity on that so that the employees know if they're in the right place and if they're aligned with the goals and the strategy and the growth of the business that employs them. So one of the things that you and I did, maybe even before we officially incorporated, was set the values of Amplify. And we switched the wording of one since, but by and large, we've got 5 values that we stick to and that we talk about almost every day. From my biased perspective as the Chief Experience Officer, I think it's been critical to all the success that we've had, and it's helped us get out of the jams that we've managed to get out of relatively quickly. Those values for us are courage, candor, connection, curiosity, and collaboration. What are your thoughts, Jesse? Do you think it was one of the best things we did, or do you think it's irrelevant, or do you remember the days that we put them together?
I mean, I think organizations without it generally are pretty, that don't have a really strong sense of culture and what values they want to represent to the outside world. I think they generally, oftentimes are like a boat at sea without a captain. I think values are like a captain. They keep you on a course, right or wrong. And I think overall, too often, unfortunately, values are just something on a wall that most of the people in an organization can't repeat, don't really know, and certainly don't live. So I think they can be a great thing if they're your guiding light, and I think they can actually be a distraction, and if not.
Yeah, I think all that's true. And what our recruiters see is that, especially when you're placing people in growth businesses and the only thing that's constant is change, that the businesses that have clear values that they talk about, that they live, that they have expectations in regards to, there's that level of consistency and knowing how to navigate challenges and knowing how to message with your people that report to you or your customers or what have you. But the ones that don't have the values, it can just look like chaos because everything's changing so quickly and there's nothing that's really foundational or stable. And it causes a lot of distress and a lack of loyalty with the employees that we place. And those are the employees that'll call us up 6 months later and want to be back in our candidate pipeline. It does seem to be a regular thing. The customers with the values seem to attract and retain people, and it helps them through the chaos. And I think we've seen that within Amplify too. And one of the things we did was use Shane Wells, Culture Smith's methodology of having opposing behaviors. And so we put as much effort into defining what our values are not as we did in defining what we expect of our people. And I think that's offered a guiding light too, because it is easier sometimes to know what something doesn't look like, while trying to tell people how to live a value can be a little fluffy and a little bit, a little bit starish and harder to make tangible. But when someone tells you this is what it's not, it's very clear to you when you're acting in a way that's meeting expectations or not. And so for us, we've got our values, we've got our opposing behaviors. And it's not good versus evil or good versus bad, because the opposing behaviors happen all the time. We all land in those blind spots, but it helps people get back on track, and it seems to make a difference for sure.